Oh, it worked.
Nice.
It worked.
Every once in a while, we pull it off.
What's going on, everybody? Burt, Byler, and Chuck Diesel here, and we are so pumped to have my man Corduroy Brown in the house. Did I just say Kurt?
You can call me Kurt Brown.
Kurt Brown.
Kurt Brown. Glad to have you, man. How you doing?
I'm great, fellas. It's good to see y'all again. We were talking about I'm the first repeat guest. What?
First time ever.
Repeat guest.
Going to be the first and going to be the last because he'll probably never come back because we're going to start talking about some weirdness as always.
I got a feeling we can't scare him off. I got a feeling we can go deep.
I've been through a few things. It's fine.
There's some guests that we've had on where I'm like, we could definitely scare this guy off. But like every time I've talked to you, I'm like, this is our dude. This is a guy I'd hang out with. Well, man, I'm sick as a dog. I've been to the doctor more times in the past 3 days than I've been in the past like 5 years.
Man.
And I've gotten all the shots, all of the medicines, all the antibiotics, and I'm still taking tomorrow off. Taking a day off.
You got to do it.
I can't do it anymore, man.
Yep. Can't give them everything.
But what's going on in your world, man? We're going to get into your music and everything here in a little bit. But what you got going on with your life, with your friends, anything special going on these days?
Man, Huntington, West Virginia, it's snowing. It's some way it's weird because people act like we've never seen snow before, and we get a little bit of snow here as if we do every year this morning, and people are wrecking and causing. It's like we've never seen snow, but that was this morning. And just before we started the stream, I actually I got nominated and received an award for humanitarianism award from Ohio University, just an hour ago. And so that was like an honor to be mentioned, in any kind of breath with Dr. King at all. Because obviously his legacy and his life was a major part of history. So to be mentioned in any kind of breath with Dr. Martin Luther King was an honor.
Did he almost die, though?
Didn't he almost die?
Did he come back from the dead like you have? Because that's something that you've done that he has not done.
Well, I mean...
You resurrected.
You're historic.
Well, that's true. That's true. Yeah. But I'm never gonna put myself above Dr. King. I'll say that.
I mean, we're not competing here. I'm just saying you've got something on your shoulder that you can
on your resume.
That you can be proud of.
Do you ever put it on an actual job application or anything like that?
If I apply for the next job, I'm going to say came back from the dead,
survived death.
And what was crazy is that the nurse that literally saved my life here in Huntington before I got shipped off to Morgantown, she was the one that made the call that was like, hey, he's got to go. He's dying. He can't stay here. She came tonight, and I had never met her before that. And I cried like a baby. So she's the reason I'm alive. I met the person that is the reason I'm still alive today.
That's awesome.
When I went to the doctor's office today, I thought that's what they were going to tell me. I thought, because I'm such a baby about being sick, I was like, surely they're going to tell him, take him immediately to the ER. Mm-hmm. He's on his last leg. Mm-hmm. He's done. And then the lady was like, you're kind of sick, but can you just go home?
There's a relief that comes with both. Okay, it's not that bad. I'm kind of blowing it out of proportion.
Yeah.
But also there's a relief with oh, thank God it's serious because I was feeling awful, and thank God I'm not just crazy or just super weak. Everybody's like, no, you real sick.
Yeah.
But that was funny because with mine, I was like, oh, it's not very bad. I'll be fine. Can I just get some antibiotics? And they were like, no, don't. You need to go to the hospital. I was like, no. And then I was like, oh, I should go to the hospital. And then I was like, I'm glad I did.
Man,
Anyway.
We are all glad you did. You know what the problem might be is that you're getting old.
Getting?
Yeah.
Gotten?
How old are you?
38 in 13 days.
13 days?
13
you
days.
You got a birthday coming up in 13 days?
Is it? What's today? The 31st?
I guess
February 12th.
I should have got you something.
How many humanitarian awards have you won, by the way, Chuck?
Oh, I did get you something.
You did not.
I did. This is a Secure Spend prepaid MasterCard. MasterCard. Everywhere you want to be. Brought to you today by MasterCard.
Not sponsored.
Not sponsored, but looking. This is from your friends in the Americana Addicts community for your 38th birthday.
You're lying.
$450 collected from the Americana Addicts. Yeah.
I'm going to fight all
and
long.
This doesn't even affect your regular credit card game, so you can spend it on whatever you want.
What do you mean? I thought you were joking.
Nope. I never joke about anything ever because I am not funny.
Are they just trying to pay me to get me to actually book that venue for the family reunion? Is that what's
that
happening?
Might be it.
I've been calling every day. For those that don't know, we're having a family reunion in Kansas City. I'll let you pick what state that's in.
Having trouble locking down the venue.
Having trouble locking down a venue. Man, this is not my night, so I'm not going to get emotional. Thank you. This is
get emotional, baby. Get it.
Man, but the internet is a dark place sometimes. It is so many of us that are trying to do whatever out there. We all know that we've had some really hard nights trying to make things on the internet. But man, this community that I've been blessed with is a constant reminder that there are incredible people out there. So I love y'all, man. Thank y'all so much.
Yep.
Valued card holder.
Valued card holder.
Valued card holder.
Mm-hmm.
That's my name.
Yep.
Thank y'all.
I feel like you could use it on
There's
whatever
no
website you wanted.
There's no way $450 on this. I don't believe it works.
Well, I mean, part of the fun, probably from their point of view, would be watching you go try to buy something for $300 on it, and then be like, "There's 20 cents on this."
Oh man, I don't feel sick anymore.
There you go, healed.
I would like to say, for the record, guitars over people.
Yeah, one of my parents and my students gave me that.
Guitar over people.
Hey, my friend Donnie Bolton, to spend your money on spider rings from this place called Gaddylands. That's really it's like a little game place like for kids here.
Nice. Yeah.
In Kentucky though.
Yeah. You can get so many.
By the way, this is definitely going to the $370 I just spent to get my car fixed.
Yeah, it's part of the business for sure.
So, yeah.
Getting places you got to go.
All right, man. We just beating around the bush. Let's get into you, man. You're the one. We just shoot the shit all the time. Like we get into that groove where we talk about nothing for like 3 hours, and then we're like, oh, we probably should have talked about something important. Tell us a little bit about why you decided to make an acoustic EP, because it's such a stark contrast from the last music that we listened to last time you were on. What encouraged you to do that? Where are you in your headspace of why you wanted to do that? And just kind of go into a little bit about why you're doing an acoustic EP called Rest that's coming out
tomorrow,
Wednesday. Tomorrow.
Yeah, February 1st, Wednesday. So whenever you're watching this, if you're watching the VOD back, it'll probably already be out. But if you're listening right now, it's going to be out in like 3 hours, actually. So, so the Rest EP, like you said, it's a huge departure. If you listen to the first album, it's full in your face. You're still going through the journey of figuring yourself out. But what I realized that I never did, and we were talking about me being in the hospital and even you being sick and stuff, like when we got out of the hospital, and this was even 2 years ago, I never stopped. I never stopped and realized like, whoa, we just went through some major trauma. And I'm grateful for everyone that had my back. And like, I just went into full on like endorphins, support, fun, everything's amazing mode, which you probably should do, you know? But I never stopped and I never sat back. And I tell you what really got me writing for this was that, you know, there's a song on the EP called Survivor's Guilt. And I really struggled with this idea that like, why did I make it and my friends haven't made it with other illnesses? Like in the meantime that I got better, like when I got back out of the hospital, man, like 2 years in 2021, like there were parades around like where I'm from, and there were TV cameras and there were all these things, which I'm incredibly grateful for. I'll never forget that. It was the craziest thing, but like, I don't know, man. It's just this is a time to just, let's just like it says, rest, like just rest. And just go through life a little bit and not be a musician and just be a human again.
Man, I think we just need to talk about the pandemic and how most of us probably still haven't come to grips with what happened or what's going on. I feel like as a teacher, it was such a whirlwind and it was such a blur. Like, it was just so crazy. We never like dealt with any of it. So obviously your experience was so much more traumatic than me, like having to deal with kids at a school. Like, those are obviously two different things. But since you've been resting, what are some thoughts that you've had about that time? What are some, when you started to dive deeper into those feelings, like what were some of the main feelings that you felt throughout all that?
There's been this big thing where I had to ask myself that, even like, what does self-care actually look like? I preach about it all the time. I tell people to take care of themselves all the time, but what does it look like for me? And that's by changing like so many small habits with like meditating and fasting and exercising and working out and like really, really taking care of my body, which also takes care of your mind. So that's been like my goal, was to push myself, not to accomplish more things necessarily, but like maybe even pull back on some of the things that I'm pushing hard towards and explore things I've never done before, which again is like exercising and reading and relaxing and like even becoming like financially literate, like getting my money straight. You know what I mean? Like, it sounds
you have credit cards? You like credit card points?
Let's talk about some credit cards.
I mean, I do have a credit card, but I mean, I have a Sweetwater card and I have like a normal credit card as well. Like, which I don't go.
Sorry,
go ahead.
I was going to say, if you ever want to talk my love language, we could talk about credit card rewards points.
Credit card points. Okay. Yeah. Listen, Chase Bank, baby.
There we go.
There's his.
There we go. There's his. My mom is an accountant, so I nerd out on finances sometimes.
I was like, Burt said, you get into that credit card game? And I was like, yeah, man, I got a Discover card, like just getting that free cash back. And he was like, no. Let me tell you the first. He's like, how many credit cards do you have? I was like, well, just the one. And he was like, let me tell you the first 5 you need to get. And I was like, this dude is crazy. And then like a year later, I have 7 credit cards.
Time out. Let me just show y'all where I am going this summer. Thanks to credit cards. Yes, I'm going to an all-inclusive in Cartagena de Indias in Colombia, going to visit my wife's family. And I've never been to Colombia. I've always wanted to go.
It's called Dreams, and it's not to be confused with that strip club downtown.
Okay, yeah.
So
our strip club here is called Lady Godiva's.
That's such a good name.
There's also Southern Exposure.
Yeah,
so much better. So ours is
Mississippi.
Ours is just babes.
Mississippi is all with the worst at name. Maybe it's just because I'm from Mississippi that I can't pick a name for anything. Like, I'm the worst. At
Maybe so. Maybe it's something in the water. Yeah.
So you've started meditating more, started resting more.
What are you doing? Like cardio, strength training, yogas? What are you doing?
Mostly strength training. I'm trying to get my guns situated. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Trying to get there, baby.
Right.
But I mean, I don't know, man. Like, I feel like it's so surface level to just say, "Oh, I'm just exercising more. I'm doing this and doing this," but it's really transformed my mind. And it's like, the way that I did rest, as far as promo and press, like I said, I'm going to do 5 things to promote this. And there's like a couple of publications, and I talked to you guys about it, like 5 things only. I'm not going to go crazy with this. I'm not going to go, because there's time for that. There's a time and a place for that. And we want to keep the production minimal too. Like, I just want these songs to be reflective of my soul that is just literally just tired. Mm-hmm. My soul was tired when I was making these songs. And some of these songs are keeping me up at night thinking about that. I mean, I don't want this whole thing to be about the hospital thing, because I know people, like, I know that's a crazy thing that happened, but like I never stepped away from all of that until now. And now is like the worst that it's been mentally, because like I'm finally seeing it from a different perspective of like, I'm remembering pieces of it now that I can like have been attached from it. And it's horrifying. It sucks. Like so many people have been like, when are you going to write a song about the COVID thing? It's going to be so crazy. Like you saw all that stuff. And, you know, because I remember telling you guys, I told everyone like all the stuff that I saw, like in the white light phase that I was in and all that stuff. Like, and people are like, want me to write some excited song. And it's like, actually, like, I don't have anything great to say about it. Like,
yeah. You don't want to hear that song right now, folks.
Yeah. It's tough, man. And so I'm just learning, I'm letting my soul rest for the first time in 2 years.
I wouldn't know.
Yeah, man, that's heavy, man. And so I think that's, man. So I wanted to talk to you about your song from last year, Medicine. First off, I loved that recording. That single is great. It's a fantastic song. It's got a lot of great, just like pop sensibilities. You could like tell the formulas that you played with to tweak those things. As a guitar player, the guitars on that record sound fantastic.
Thank you.
But also there's that refrain in the chorus where it says, I've got to take all my medicine so that I can feel like myself again, which I think is like, for people, I want to give a shout out to Mean Girls in the chat. Mingers, she one time posted a pic of like her pill box that was like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. And like I bought one of those because I saw that she had one, and I was like, it has made my pill taking life so much better. But also like the metaphor of like, you got to take your medicine. Like, you know, I've got to make myself take my medicine. I got to make myself meditate. I've got to make myself do these affirmations. I got to make myself brush my teeth and shower every day or whatever. I've got to take my medicine so that I can feel like myself again. I love that refrain in that song. I think that's just a fantastic message in that kind of encapsulated in that song. Can you tell us a little bit about that? I know it's not on the new EP. It's an old one, but
yeah, man. Well, I'm glad you asked about it. It means a lot. You even know that I have music out, and I mean that sincerely. Like that fact that people even know that I do songs, that is enough for me. But yeah, medicine is exactly that, man. It's like there's like a question in there that like how I write songs is like, if it won't leave my head for like months, if I'm still singing just this little whatever the idea is, it's like I have to do something with it. And sometimes I'll write something down and be like, okay, that sucks, never mind. But this one, that was one of those that just got stuck in my head, and I kept saying, oh, I just gotta take all my medicine, and it just kept singing in my head. And it even goes into the idea of like, is it everything that are my dreams, are all the things that I care about keeping me alive, or is it just enough for me to like be a body that doesn't have purpose, particularly this day, I think.
Right.
Yeah, I feel like so often hustle culture in the music industry is such a big deal, because the truth of the matter is most of us are working a full-time job. And then a lot of people like me have families, and then you may have other hobbies, and then music, like to be able to do all of the things, we just don't have the time. And so rest is one of those things that just
pays the price mostly.
Yeah. Anything that I feel it. So I don't know how you feel about it, but in the music industry where it's like, we're constantly getting bombarded with digital marketers telling us we got to upload 15 times a day. And I, for the past 2 years, have just been on I was doing like sometimes like 5 videos a week. And I'm just done. Like I'm really done with that life. I would much rather do things that in my opinion are more meaningful to me than just because it just beat me down, man. Do you feel that weight at all of the need to constantly be creating and the constantly be putting stuff out there because that's what you're supposed to do?
Yeah, the FOMO, or the fear of missing out, is brutal. And this is, so here's how this works. And I was trying to find it on your Instagram, but you inspired me big time one day, man. You said something about like, you said, you're not going to spend your energy. I have to find it. The way you said it, it was like a picture with your family or something. Like you're not going to compete anymore. You're not going to worry about competing. I can't remember how you paraphrased it or how you said it, but I'll have to find that. You inspired me big time one day with something you posted on your Instagram. But I mean, like you said, hustle culture, and it seems like in America is so toxic in general. And if you add to the musicianship side of it, it's awful, man. And we have shows right now. We start playing. We have a couple shows in February, but we really start hitting shows hard in April. And I have stuff all the way through September already booked. So I'm not saying that to be boastful, but I'll see something posted that someone's playing somewhere, and I'm like, oh shit, fuck, I'm not doing anything. Like I gotta get. I mean, why? And it's like I actually have too many shows right now.
Right.
Like, and that ties back into the rest idea, man. It's like, hey, why don't you go run with your girlfriend today? You'll have a show next week. Mm-hmm. Like, don't worry about posting. Like, just be present with whoever you're with. You know what I mean? So, just rest.
Sometimes I like to visualize, like when I'm making myself rest or whatever, or when I'm like taking time off. I like to pretend that I'm that guy that's stuck in the hatch on Lost, right? And I'm like, I'm down there every day, just like stuck in this tiny little space. And that's my house, right? And I'm like, what am I gonna do? Like, I mean, eventually I would have everything on wheels in that place. Like everything would just roll around, right? But it's like, what am I gonna do with this? Like today, this bottle episode of my life, right? And you can either treat it as like, today's a singular standalone day, and I could just ruin it. I could ruin my life, right? And like live like there's no tomorrow. Or I could like put in the work for today that's going to make me feel good today, but also is a building block that when I put 2 of these days together, they're worth more than just one day and one day. Like the sum of those parts are more. And I feel like when I look at a day like that, it makes it so much easier for me to give myself permission to do the tedious little things that maybe I don't want to do, like the tidying and cleaning up and little house repairs, but also to not give a shit about what other people want for me or need for me, or like not even that. It's more like, I think it's more like what you're talking about, the pressure that is internalized from us looking out at other creators or producers, the Instagram lifestyle or whatever that we all know is fake. There's no more secrets about it, but like we've internalized that pressure, and we put that on top of our like Uber grind culture, like our post 2000 grind culture. And it's just, we already have this like baseline hum in our brain all the time that's tough to turn off. That says you should be better and you should be working at it.
What's like the people see, the side of content being posted. Like when I was going crazy with videos, people saw how many videos I was doing, how much I was growing and all this stuff. What they didn't see is that I was waking up at 5:30 and like editing a video before I went to work. And then I'd get home from work and I'd be so tired that I didn't have enough energy to play with my son. And so something always gets thrown out. And I was just like, man, I do not want to wake up 10 years from now thinking back to like when I walk in the room and my son is like, so like just before we started this thing, like how pumped he was to hug me before he went to bed. And for me not to be able to have the energy to give that back to him. And, I still believe in trying to build this thing, and I believe in creating and all that kind of stuff. I'm not going to let it dominate my life anymore. But my question is, what do you think some of the biggest hindrances for you to rest is? What are your biggest battles on what keeps you from resting?
That's kind of what you guys are saying is like, there's always like this extra little carrot that's dangling, it seems like. And I love music, obviously. And you guys too. I mean, you guys know how it is. And don't get me wrong, I'm so grateful that people want to hear us play music. But it's like one thing I've disliked about myself is like how much I've obsessed over like filling these calendar dates and like, oh, I've got to do this and I got to make sure this post is out by this time because Instagram says at 7:35 is the best time to post in Eastern time. And it's like, we're forgetting to live. There's nothing wrong about being passionate with it. I mean, I'm great. And part of me is like, man, you're working your butt off is like, that's the reason you're getting shows. And like, it's the reason you have shows through September and you have a booking agent now and you're doing all the things. I'm reaping all the things I'm sowing. But one thing I heard a long time ago in 2017, I saw this video. This woman said, the grass is only greener where you water it. And that freaking floored me because it's like, it's so profound, but it's so simple. Mm-hmm. And I will say this real quick is like in the hospital, I regretted the time that I didn't spend with people more than anything. All I wanted was more time to do more things with people. So maybe that's what it looks like in music, because music has given me the opportunity to do some amazing things with more amazing people. But maybe it's like, hey, there's a lot of other amazing things that don't involve music. So like part of resting is also me discovering all the new things that I'm capable of doing. And that like, man, I never thought I would be up at 5:30 in the morning running miles on a treadmill. Like and that sounds so simple, but that's a new experience that I can be like, okay, I can do this. So who's going to go run a Tough Mudder now with, Simone, my girlfriend, me? Cause I'm like, all right, let's do all new things. Like there'll always be shows.
Make sure you don't skip that leg day if you're getting that at Tough Mudder. You're going to say goodbye to an ACL if you're not careful.
Man, my legs are little baby newborn deer at the end of the day, man. Jesus.
You should see Burt's legs, man.
Oh, God.
It won't take but half a second. Actually, if you blink.
I have the body of a small teenage girl. Very small teenage girl.
Tanisha
who has not eaten in 6 years.
Yeah, who people would look at and be like, "You're small for a teenage girl."
My friend Tanisha in the chat asked if it's 7:30 p.m. or a.m. Generally p.m. I believe. I don't know if you guys like to interact with the chat, but I'm trying to holler at my people.
Let's get into the chat.
Let's talk. You can talk to your people. Don't talk to our people.
Engage with our people. Like the less you engage with them.
All these people on Twitch, like Mingers, Chad, Cody, Cyber.
If it's got a Twitch icon, just
stay away from all. They just gave me $450.
So here's the thing about, they didn't give me shit. So here's the thing about Cody is you just got to watch this man. We're not sure he's not in Canadian espionage and just doing some sort of Canadian.
He could be a spy.
I'm wondering like what words might get us banned from all of these social medias if I say them as a joke.
Supposedly on Twitch, the C word, but not the bad C word. Canada. The racist trope about white people.
Really?
Banned on
oh
Twitch.
Wow.
Yeah.
Man,
like Ritz.
I don't want to try it out. Yes.
Yeah. So there's that band from the 90s. Like, what if you're covering some of their songs?
I mean, I'm sure they look at the context.
But... Man. What if you were saying like, should we do it?
No.
Oh God.
I mean, wait, banned or what happens?
We get a strike off of Twitch for forever.
I think it's hard.
Sick of Twitch.
I think. Oh man, I love Twitch. I'm all about Twitch. I'm here for the Twitch. Corduroy Brown, you think about maybe playing some live shows on Twitch? Maybe doing some streams from your locale there?
I would love to, man. I've actually been doing a lot of Facebook Lives like every Tuesday where I do this thing where if like people request songs. If I know them, I'll play them. But if I don't, I'll learn them on the spot for you. And the whole point is like, it's not supposed to be going to blow your socks off, but it's like you can hear me trying to learn like Macy Gray or like someone requested Creed the other night. And I was like, like, you know what I mean? Like it's me like learning them on the spot. So I've been having fun with it. I've thought about going.
Okay, so wait. That's supposed to be happening right now?
No. I mean, I'm here with you guys right now.
Well, but here's what I'm saying is like, if you were going to be doing that anyway, I think a demonstration is probably enough.
Well, also a very important question, Creed or Nickelback?
Creed, easily.
I figure like both of those words should get you banned from Twitch.
Nickelback's making a comeback. The thing is, it's like people think it's fun to hate on them. They became a meme. But like they kind of got some slapping songs.
Yeah, I mean
they do. If they didn't, they never would have been able to fool us about and think into thinking that they were cool when they suck so bad.
Yeah, I saw a TikTok with them and this girl who's like a TikTok musician, and they were trying to do, it was like
So
whenever these old bands try to come and like get on these platforms, it's like y'all just need to stay off of these places.
oh man, now the chat's lighting up, man.
I told you. Now we start getting some trash talk.
This is
Cody
polarizing.
said, "I'll ride for Nickelback any day." Man,
Melissa, which one? You've never disliked Creed or Nickelback?
sounds like either. So have you seen these videos of like Scott Stapp talking about the abuse he endured as a child?
No.
Like we all know. So when I was coming up, 20s, I turned 20 in 2000. So it was this whole thing of like I was in my young 20s at the Creed heyday, those early 2000s. And we knew that Creed was like kind of a Christian band, maybe. And then like we knew that Scott Stapp's father was a preacher and he was a stern man. And we were like, so Scott Stapp's like kind of, and I was a pretty religious dude, right? So I was like, Scott Stapp's like a Christian who's like writing these songs that are definitely like Christian, but also relatable. And now he's like openly talking about the culture of abuse that he endured and how it was kind of like wrapped around that religious upbringing.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just like we had this picture of what it was 20 years ago, right? And now the conversation has changed so much in the culture that now we're talking about what Scott Stapp's father did to him, like just beating him every morning just because or whatever, something like that,
Oh my gosh.
And it's just kind of like we're suddenly getting to this point where we're talking about it, and that makes me very happy. So in that regard, I'm glad to celebrate Creed.
Picking Creed.
And that's about all I'll give him. Creed over Nickelback.
I thought you were going to say that's the bottom line.
If he wants to get out, with all that, with his personal business like that. But all it is I know that his friend wore a silly hat in that one picture.
Scott Stapp turns 50 this year, in case you weren't feeling old.
Whoa.
Man, Jesus.
Yeah.
38 is going to kick my ass. Well, one question I did want to talk to you.
This just came out of
They
nowhere.
start talking about movies and stuff. We'll just let them be. Let them have their time.
Yeah.
On their own time.
Yeah, we're gonna quit engaging with the chat. This is getting brutal.
Well, I did want to. I know I'd seen on some of your social media. I don't know if it was a year ago, but has religion played any role in your life since the hospital? And what I know that you have religious friends. I don't know if you're religious at all, but like, what has that played a role at all in your life, or what? Where do you stand these days on all of that?
Man, there's this weird gray area in there. I mean, I grew up in church. I still go to church. I went to church this Sunday. I've gone to church my entire life. I play in a church even. So I have this with, as far as religion, like I think that there's somebody up there that's got to be at one point orchestrating this. You know what I mean? Not saying good, bad, ugly, whatever. But so here's where I kind of stand on it. If I could put it in like, hard terms, is that who knows if there's heaven or hell? Who really knows? I'm going to try to be the best person that I can be. And at the end of each night, I pray to whomever's listening. Hopefully it's God. Hopefully it's whoever. And I say thank you, because for another day, I got to live. I got to breathe. I got to go home. I got sheets on my bed. I have a roof over my head. I've had food in my belly. So, I pray. And when I pray, I say thank you. And I try not to ask for too much, because I have more than I have ever needed. So
you have a great beard.
Thank you. That's really what I'm thankful for.
It's a big deal.
But but yeah, I mean, Minger says I'm praying to Krampus, but is he like omnipotent? Is he everywhere? Like at all times? But no, that's where I'm at, man. I mean, I've grown up in church, and I believe that there is a God. It's just hard for me to like say, God, well, why aren't you interceding in certain really awful things? But at the same time, like religion says, well, it's God. You're not supposed to understand it. So it's like, I try not to torture myself too much. I just try to be the best human that I can and say, hey, thank you for another day. And I've always done that. Not just because of the hospital. It's just always.
Yeah.
That's wrong. You're going to hell.
Maybe. I don't know.
Oh man, I wish if we had like twice as many viewers right now, that you would probably be getting lit up by haters at some point.
Yeah.
You know, you get a wide enough swath of the internet and somebody wants to tell you that you're awful just for believing what you believe.
I don't know where all my people are at. I normally have like a good 25 people.
I think that it's wonderful to see, like especially from somebody who was dead.
See you, Benjamin.
It's wonderful to see gratitude play such a part in like your spiritual practice. Like, you're not saying like, when I lay down to go to bed, I just feel overwhelmed with gratitude. You're saying like, when I go to bed, I practice gratitude. You know, like I think about what I'm grateful for. And man, you know what? Even if it just does turn out to be lizard people, and this is an experiment in a simulation,
Turtles.
or it's just turtles all the way down. You know, even if that's the case, like, you lived a better life for being grateful, you know? And that doesn't mean you don't speak out or stand up against injustice, especially in defense of others. But gratitude is like such an important, we talk about self-care, we talk about meditation and stuff like that. I think the practice of gratitude is so important for me. And it reminds me of a song that is from the musical White Christmas, which goes like this. Did you think I was actually going to sing it?
I was ready.
Let's see what happens. I didn't have it dialed up. Sorry, guys. But no, you know, it's like that has been making a difference in my life as well. It makes me really happy to hear you say that, because it's just kind of something I've been thinking about, but not really putting a fine point on. But thinking about the things that I'm grateful for. Remember we watched that Y. Rayleigh Hubbard video where he says, the days that my gratitude outweighs my complaining or whatever. That created a saying amongst me and my coworkers where we say, we're talking about personal stuff. This isn't about work, but we say gratitude over attitude.
Can you tell that to my middle school students?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like
all of them.
I feel like saying that to your middle school students would be like my boss saying gratitude over attitude, and I'd be like, "Hey, no, this ain't about work."
I was trying to find it's a Dave Matthews lyrics. He says, above all things, if kindness is your king, then heaven will be yours before you meet your ends.
Yeah, man. I mean,
can you read that again? I think I missed it.
If kindness is your king, then heaven will be yours before you meet your end. It's Dave Matthews.
Speaking about ends, let's talk about survivor's guilt, because I find it to be a topic that I don't know anything about. Like, I've never been in a bad accident, or I almost died in the doctor's office today, but I got a shot, so I'm alive. That's probably the closest I've ever come to death. But just walk us through, for somebody who doesn't have any idea what you mean when you say in your song, I would rather die than to live with this survivor's guilt. Like, where did that come from?
I mean, like, you watch your friends. I've personally watched some of my friends that haven't made it, specifically my friend Barry Smith, who died from cancer this year. And I watched him deteriorate pretty badly, as people with cancer tend to do. And there's just like this, I think I don't want it to ever come off as just like, oh, wow, I wish that I would have died. But there's also this eternal question of like, was that supposed to be me? Like, why did he have to go instead of myself? And it's so hard to explain, because again, people ask me so many times, like, when are you going to write a song about all that crazy COVID stuff that happened? Like, it's supposed to be this joyous, momentous thing. And it's like, I don't want to. Again, that's kind of what we were saying earlier. Like, but I haven't really I've talked to a couple close friends about this, but like, because I'm grateful for everyone that celebrated me living. I don't ever want that to be forgotten. I'm grateful for everyone that's like said, man, we're so glad you're alive. But the nights that are the hardest are the nights where my body hurts and I have nerve damage in my feet from the life support tubes that they put in my body. It caused like peripheral nerve damage, and my feet hurt pretty badly, and my body still aches, and I'll still get nightmares from some of those scenarios, and it sucks. And I don't talk about that a lot because, I mean, there's a time and a place for it, and maybe that's here right now, but there's just this eternal question and this kind of eternal hurt was like, why did Barry have to go and I didn't? And why did he have to suffer when my death would have been fast if I would have went? And it's just this weird fight that is like, I'm grateful to be alive, but then you always wonder, like, man, like, was that not supposed to be me? So I don't know how to explain it other than it's what kept me up a few nights in the past year.
Mm.
So
I don't know. Do you think it works that way? Like, you know, maybe it was supposed to be Corduroy Brown. I mean, I don't think it works that way. I feel like life's like an explosion and everything's flying at us at 600 miles an hour and it's on fire. And nobody aimed it, and some of us get hit, and some of us, it just didn't hit us, you know? Like, I have pretty light cases of coronavirus the 2 times that I've had it, you know? I feel like, you know, I don't know, man. I certainly don't want to take away from your viewpoint or diminish your experience at all. It's a unique experience. But I just like, I wonder if, like, I mean, I just don't know if it works that way. Like it was supposed to be something, or
have y'all ever seen the HBO show Leftovers?
I haven't.
I've not watched it yet. I've heard a lot about it though.
It's all right. It's not great.
It's got Justin Theroux.
It's fine.
He's a good looking man.
It's not great. But the reason I bring it up is because in Leftovers, it's basically the idea of 2% of the population, I believe, just one day up and vanished. And a big theme of the movie was this a coincidence? Like, why did these people go and why did the other people not go? So you might go check it out. Maybe you'll like it a lot more than I did if you're like struggling with that question. But it was just I loved how it showed how certain humans respond to certain situations, because you had the preacher who took a very religious stance, and you know it was sinners and because this, and then you had people on the other side of the aisle that's just saying it's just all an explosion, like you said, like, and it was just, I think it was such a cool way to see. I love any type of shows and movies that like really depict human behavior and like how we respond to things
and wrestling with like those existential questions.
Yeah, we're songwriters. This is all we think about all day. Everybody else just goes to the bar and like talks about sports, and we're over here like trying to figure out things that we probably never will figure out.
Yeah, and I don't know if I'll ever play that song out live, but I know that like for me, it was something that had to get out of my soul. It had to get out of my body and had to exist. And it's been crazy because I've sent a couple people the album, and even just me talking about some of the songs, there's been people that have been like, oh my gosh, like I didn't know that this was like, I thought I was crazy. And that's always like, maybe that's why. And I don't like to necessarily think about there's like, okay, this is the exact reason that things are happening either. But if maybe, you know, this song is going to help someone get their head wrapped around something so that they can be a better human in the long run. Who knows, man? But I don't know that I'll ever play it live. There's a video recording of it, and it'll be on the album, obviously, or the EP. But it was just a song that was in my soul that I never dove down and touched until recently. And then I was like, I can't sleep. I wrote that song in about 2 minutes. I mean, it just literally just bam, bam, just fell on the paper and was like, oh, that I didn't even think about that. That's just where my head and my heart were. So,
man, I don't know how to say her name. Tashina. I hate to hear that. That is so tough. Hmm. And it's just, I think your EP comes at such a great time because I feel like I can't speak for everybody, but like for me personally, I really do feel like a weight is lifting off of me based on the last couple of years. And
Mm-hmm.
I feel lighter than I used to. And I just don't think we have come to grips with how big. I mean, we literally lived through like what movies are made of.
Mm-hmm.
You know, people dying left and right,
And the fact that it was everybody.
yeah,
It was everybody. It's, it's like it's unmeasurable, really. There's never been a time like this in history. And even when we're like, this is the biggest plague since 100 years ago, that was not like this because it's a different world, And I think that it's you come from this these last couple of pieces, these last couple of songs that you've put out being very produced, very slick, almost like kind of orchestrated the way the instrumentation works together. And then you go back to this very low key, very dialed down sound overall. And I think you're right. It's like, this is well timed for us in the post COVID era as we're all sorting out what we're going through and the hidden toll that it's taken on us beyond who we've lost and what we went through at the time, but the long emotional COVID, that we're experiencing.
Yeah, man. The thing is too, like, you don't owe anything to anybody, and that's what kind of what Burt was saying is like with music, it's like there's always this extra like, oh, we got to do this, we got to do this, we got to do this, and we got to post because that person posted and they said we got to post 10 times a day, and it's like at the end of the day, you literally don't owe anything to anyone. And I have to be honest, and I don't want to. I'm hesitant to say it because in our small town of Huntington, West Virginia, like when I got sick, it was like a thing. It was like a big thing, like. And that's, I don't know why. I mean, I don't feel like I'm that important for people to, but there were, like I said, parades and TV cameras and all this stuff. There were people selling merch and they had benefit concerts and all this crazy stuff. And I'm so beyond grateful. I never want that to be forgotten. But like, again, you don't owe it to anyone. And if like you're hurting, like, it's like okay to just be like, yo, I'm hurting.
Mm-hmm.
You don't owe it to anyone. People kept asking me, when are you going to do a song about the COVID thing? And I'm like, I don't want to do that.
Yeah. You don't have to.
Like
part of your process of surviving might just be doing whatever you want about it.
That's what rest is. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Do you feel like the Rest EP? Well, let me put it a different way. Do you feel like that experience kind of defined your music? Do you feel like you've become, or not become, but do you feel like that experience is, so I'm trying to get there. Give me 1 second. So a big problem of mine is I feel like I've become a reaction guy, like on the internet. People see me as a reaction guy. They don't click on my videos unless it's a reaction video. And I've like kind of pigeonholed into being something that I don't really love doing. I love doing it when it's for lesser known artists to where we can give a platform to. But like the whole like reacting to every Zach Bryan song of all time, I'm kind of done with. But do you feel like in a way that experience has defined who people see you as musically? And if so, how has that affected you?
I don't know that it does that on a musical level. Real quick on, I'd say Stacey Nelson says, Alan's music is heartfelt and soul-catching. That's very kind. Thank you. My friend Rebecca, who was just at my little thing that I went to for the MLK Humanitarian Award thing, said she's saying that maybe God has a bigger part or bigger plan for me. Maybe so. I hope so. I'm taking it as it comes for sure. I just want to acknowledge that because that was a very heartfelt comment.
Mm-hmm.
But I texted my friends my friend that runs the Paramount Arts Center the other day, David, in Ashland, Kentucky. I I was like, man, I just don't want to be the COVID kid. I don't want to be the guy that got COVID and then he made music, because I was making music well before that. And he was like, dude, I knew and appreciated your music way before any of that stuff. And that was so refreshing, because I'm glad that it's part of my story, because it ultimately gives what I do more perspective. But it's not the only thing that I have in my music. You know, my music is always going to be coming from a place where it's like from the inside out. I'm not going to write songs just because it's like, you know.
Oh, I know you come from church now. He just, I know you from the end.
You just dropped Hillsong.
You just dropped Hillsong.
Yeah, or Crowder, whoever wrote it first. But but yeah, man. I mean, I hope that people don't think that it's just like everything is from that COVID experience, because check this out. The album, the Let Me Know album, was actually 99% done before I got sick. And then people were like, oh, he came back from the dead to write an album. And it's like, no, that shit was done. Like, it really was.
Yes, I did. Yes, that's what happened. I did that. Yes.
People ran with that. But if you know the story, you understand that like it's part of the equation. And like, when in my bio, when I submit to festivals and submit to whatever, like in my Spotify bio, it's like, you know, theme, literally the last line, it says, now themes of mental wellness and self-care run deep in the sound for a second time on the earth. And it's like, it's just an addition. It's like an addition sign to everything I've always believed in and tried to, like, all my music is me just trying to figure out how to live better. It's always been.
Yeah. It's kind of like you don't want to be Fonzie for the rest of your career.
Exactly.
Right? Yeah.
And I will say this, and maybe I'm going to get crucified for this, but I was hesitant to do this little EP because it's so simple. To me, there's like, and it's popular, so don't think that I'm dogging on anyone specific, but it's kind of like a joke with in between musicians. I don't know if you guys have ever heard WG squared, but it's like a white guy with guitar. Like there's that guy. I'm not calling out anyone specific. Please, I'm going to get hung on the cross for this. I know.
Burt, Byler.
We'll call him Burt, but there's not even a white guy. There's just a guy generally with a beard. I have a beard, so I'm calling myself out, slinging 55 beats per minute acoustic songs. And there's a time and a place for it, but I was hesitant to do this EP because of that, because I was like, I don't want to sound like that. Everyone's doing that. But it's just rest would not be that. Like if I made it too produced, it wouldn't be rest. So what everyone needs to know now, though, and I don't want you to bypass rest with this, but there's a whole nother album coming later in the year that is that fun, upbeat corduroy, let's get it, like chilling, vibing, fun, jumping off the stage, you know, running with my wireless guitar pack, all that too. But this was just a rest period. So I hope that makes sense.
Yes, we are sick of the acoustic crap, man. Like that's all we do on this channel is listen to white men play acoustic songs
with beards.
Give me some more albums, give me some more production. Like anytime, like Drayton Farley just put out a single, and watching people on the internet just lose their minds,
so upset
because there was like 4 instruments on the song or 5.
Yeah,
and I think that this whole like organic acoustic thing is really awesome, but I'm ready for a break.
Yeah,
I'm ready for some guitars. I'm ready for
them pedal steers.
So please, like I'm all for it. I think that so many people think that we only listen to that kind of music.
I thought so.
Nobody thinks that about
it
me.
feels that way. And I'm like, man, I rarely just listen to one person playing an acoustic guitar and singing. But I felt like your songs, it made so much more sense because of the topic that you were talking about. And so I think it works really great. We love the songs.
Thank you.
But
please keep making records, man.
Absolutely. And you know, I will be. I'm excited to hear you get back into the full band thing, man. It's you've made some sounds that I just really dig, man. For sure.
I'm just letting you know that we got some stuff cooking right now.
Nice.
We got it cooking. And I don't want people to not chill out with rest. I think rest is Like it's something I needed to make, even not even for people. That's why I didn't push it so incredibly hard. Like when we did the Let Me Know album, dude, a month went by and I was out of the hospital, and I was on every podcast, every show, every video, for 3 months I went hard with promo. But with this, it was like, we're going to rest. We're going to do this properly and chill, and it's going to be minimal, but I want people to save this EP for a rainy day, but just know this is not the direction I'm going.
Yeah.
This is what I had to get off my heart while it was there. So
F the WGBs. What is that? What it was?
FWG
squared.
FWGB squared.
FBGVs. We don't need no BGVs.
My mom's in the chat. She says, I love the full band. One happy mama. What up, mama?
All right, Mama Brown.
Mama Corduroy.
Mama Corduroy.
I was gonna ask if you had any. It seems like you might have a lot of folks here in the chat. I'm seeing a lot of names I don't recognize. I'm kind of watching my language over here.
Corduroy Brown is big on the Facebook.
Big on the Facebook.
He's a big deal on Facebook.
These are some of your Facebook Tuesday night folks coming to join us, and we're super grateful for that. Welcome, y'all. Thank you so much. They're probably not actually here. They're probably just watching on his page.
Yes.
Is that what's happening? Yeah. Thanks for accidentally coming to our stream.
Well, man, so excited about your release tomorrow. Everybody go check out Corduroy Brown, or as I said at the beginning of the show, Kurt Brown, and his incredible dog. One question that I like to ask to end the show a lot of times, what is one topic or one question that you wish I would have asked? Is there anything that you're just dying to get off your chest, or something you're pumped about, something you're angry about?
My girlfriend said Cardio Brown because that's what we've been calling me when we do our 5:30 or 6 a.m. workouts. Cardio Brown.
Nice.
And speaking of rest, I'm about to take my little medicated self and get all up in the bed, and I'm not going to work tomorrow. I'm not going to do anything.
Nice.
Awesome.
I don't know, man. I don't know. Like, I don't know if I have anything heavy on my chest. I don't know if I'm angry about anything right now. That means no. But I don't know. Like, I think there's always this urgency that I carry that's like, man, life is literally for living. The only purpose that we are alive is to live. And if you want to chill, I guess I'm just trying to find a balance. I'm trying to find that balance of like, what does resting mean, but what does also living every minute, to the fullest mean? And I think when I can find that balance, I'm going to be the happiest I ever have been. I've actually, this album, this little EP is pretty somber and sad, but I'm actually the happiest I've been in about 3 years. And I'm really grateful for that, actually.
I would like to put forth that probably the process you went through on that album has helped you as a catharsis after listening to those lyrics. For sure, man. It's great. I am glad to see somebody divert from the usual plan and just say, I'm going to focus on what's important and prioritize over hustle, over grind, over business. I love it. You hit me in my feelings again every time.
Well, you're an inspiring dude, man. Thank you so much for coming and hanging out with us. We're big fans of you. If there's ever anything that we can do to help you out around here, all of our folks love you, man.
I want to get a show with you sometime,
man. When
we just got to book that one show a year.
Yeah, this man's talking about playing like 1,000 shows. I'm like, can we just play once?
Burt Byler Band annual event.
This man supposedly is my guitar player now, and he became my guitar player a year ago? How many times has he played with me?
As soon as I started, listen to this. We talked about this weekend. As soon as I started practicing Burt Byler's music while just playing over it on Spotify, and I've got the receipts because in my Spotify rewind, 3 of my top 5 songs were Burt Byler songs. And then we both were supposed to have a meeting with the bass player this weekend, and we both flaked. We just went out there and drank beer and built a fire. So we really,
see, you rested.
I don't think anybody complained.
We are resting hard.
We are resting over here.
We probably resting a little too hard.
Well, I still want to play a show with you.
I do too,
Absolutely.
Man. That would rule.
I'll play guitar for both bands. I'll learn your stuff. You come, I'll play guitar for both.
Let's do it.
I don't have the skills to back that up, but I just thought I'd throw it out there.
Love you, Becky. Love you, everyone that came by.
Well, thanks so much for everybody coming, hanging out. Everybody go follow Corduroy Brown on all the places. Go listen to his EP. It's a blessing to have you, brother.
Blessing to be here, guys.
What was that Hillsong song?
Inside out.
Inside out.
Have a good night, everybody.
Inside out.